It was scary, to tell you the truth. I mean, we're fortunate where we're at that point where we're stable. I mean, money was coming in, patients were coming in, so we're fine at that point. If it was 6 months earlier, it would have been bad.
Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to Go Live with Joshua Scott. I'm your host. Guys, this is episode number 18, and I am sitting here with some fantastic friends of mine. This is Perch Dentistry. Guys, say what's up.
What's up, guys?
Hi, Dr. Cua here.
I was going to say more specifically, Denise Cua and Shivam Patel, aka Perch Dentistry. How you guys doing?
We are a lot. So, like, I think I had
all
a little
the things.
But yeah, so I mean, for us anyways, here in Texas, they allowed elective dentistry to start in May 1st. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a surprise because originally they had said it was after May 8th. So 9th was the day we were kind of planning. And then so when they changed the date on us, so it's like, okay, now we pretty much on April 30th, there was just a lot of back and forth. Mm-hmm. But that evening is when we kind of solidified May 1st, but obviously we weren't ready. So we took the whole weekend to figure things out. So today is the first day that we officially soft reopened. Okay, cool. So then so you've had patients this morning? Yes.
Okay. Yes. Wow. So we're right in between, the schedule. You guys are blocking for the Go Live.
For
we
you.
Blocked it out. Yeah.
Only for you.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Because I was saying we probably had this set up before you were even new. Yeah.
I thought we were going to be at home doing this and in bed, and I thought it was going to be a fun quarantine.
Yeah. Not
Go
Live.
Yeah. Well, so what was that like this morning? First couple patients?
Honestly, I feel like the feedback that we've gotten, we did the phone screening, we talked to the patients just to get an idea of, what they were thinking and, some of the changes that we did for the practice. And it went pretty smoothly.
They were just ready to get back in. I mean, everyone had, they came in with masks and everything, mm-hmm. but they weren't scared to get things done. And they were actually just waiting until we were opening up. So we didn't have to do any convincing in terms of, we have this and that, and which we did too, because we made sure that we were prepared. We got great air purifiers in the rooms, we got the gowns, we got the mask and everything, but they just wanted to be seen because mm-hmm. they were just putting it off for so long. So for the 3 people that we did see, it wasn't an issue opening up.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, I want to talk about that, but before we get into that, I'm going to back up because it's been a little over a year since I've seen you guys. I was out there right before the grand opening. But so, almost a year ago, right? A couple weeks ago was your 1 year anniversary. Yeah. So give us a highlight. What was year 1? Give us a recap. What was it like?
Oh man, it's kind of I wouldn't say a roller coaster. I would say a roller coaster going up only. So far.
I guess it kind of went down now.
Well, now I guess it's kind of up until COVID hit. I think we were kind of making our way up, kind of going through the gears and leveling up a little bit. But then obviously this stuff just kind of shattered our momentum. But I
think the highlight is I think with everyone that does a startup is the thoughts you had initially versus what you ended up after year 1, or what concerned you in the beginning versus the end. And we did have a change of staff. So you met our previous in our photo shoot. They're no longer with us. And I think it's part of the learning process. And I think the highlight for me was that we were able to grow in a year's time. We got another chair in the office, with the potential growth. Mm-hmm. We had another staff member here too. There was a lot. It was nice that people were responding well to what our, idea of a dental practice should be. Even though, yes, it was nice, people complimenting us that we knew, but we didn't really know if we were doing things right. And so I think for us, or for me anyways, the most rewarding thing, besides growth, obviously, was a lot of people reaching out to us, not just like patients, but also like dentists from other parts of the country, kind of like asking us about like our design or who used on our website. It was kind of cool to just like
connect with
a lot of people at the same time doing dentistry. So it was like a marriage of, you know, being able to like do design, but also, you know, do dentistry. So it was nice.
Oh, that's cool. When you say, go back to your team for a second, was the expectation when you said there was maybe some of the expectations were different? Was it you were thinking when you started, like, this is my team, they're going to be here long term, and you were kind of surprised by the shift or the turnover?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it was quick. So we thought we needed someone that was experienced, who like on their resume had like X amount of years. And then we thought that we needed a person that was very like lively and personable. So I was like, I think if you like marry the two, it just makes sense. And I think when you hear about other people's experiences, like they usually recommend
to do something like that.
Yeah. And it didn't work because let's say someone that is more experienced, like as most people find out, like they're conditioned in their ways. So obviously it doesn't work for a startup. And then, you know, someone that maybe might be, you know, very personal might be lacking in other skills. So even though they say higher personality, sometimes that's not always the case too.
Yeah.
So that's the hard part.
Yeah.
You guys have such a unique like culture there too. And that chemistry fit is always going to be so huge for whoever comes on that team.
Yeah. And I think that's the hard part. We have a lot of, like, I don't think we're tough bosses, but I think we have an elevated expectation.
Yeah.
Who's the tougher boss?
Her, for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think, if anything, I'll criticize him and say, like if you let them do that, like, they'll do anything.
Yes, boss.
Yeah, but it's funny because even though I'm like vocal about that, I would say most fear him more.
Yeah, it's
compared to me.
I feel like it's a whole man.
Like, I don't know if it's because I'm short.
Less threatening. You're shorter, so you're less threatening.
Yeah, like then you look up at him, or like maybe because like I smile too much.
Yeah.
But like because even when I'm pissed, like I'm smiling. I don't know. My face just turns up, so maybe that's just
yeah. They can't tell. They're like, well, if Shivam gets upset, they're like, oh, look out, because he never gets upset. So
exactly, and it's just always mad.
Yeah. Shivam, what was like if you look back on year one? What were some of your highlights?
Definitely. I mean, going through some of the experiences, you have to go through some of like the crappy things, like, you know, employee turnover. Things breaking. Well, we didn't have too much of that happen, but still, just some maintenance issues, and then just getting the systems done. I think that was something that I'm really happy that we've really gotten into, and kind of really fine-tuned into as well. We've had a lot of positive feedback from our patients. You know, they came back for the recalls, you know, the reviews and things like that. So I think that's so rewarding, just hearing that or seeing them come back. It shows us that, you know, we're doing something good. And then, you know, people, because we're on like our local Facebook pages and things like that next door or whatever, and people ask for recommendations and stuff. So we see our patients just typing our name, and it feels really good. Knowing that we're doing something positive and we're doing something right, and just kind of separating ourselves from other dental practices as well. I think we kind of stick out in a couple areas like that too.
Yeah. Looking back kind of pre-COVID, what do you think some of the low points were? Was there a point where you're like, I don't know that we're going to make it?
I mean,
I feel like we're really fortunate. I don't think we had lows. Only because, well, a couple things in my head is I think it was really nice having a partnership because it wasn't one person taking on everything. I think I think we talked about this before, but not all partnerships work, obviously, but like, you know, fortunately somehow this one is, you know, I like doing things that he doesn't like, vice versa. So I don't know, to me, we've never really felt a low. We've always had like big support from family.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You know, my dad, he's technically an employee of the practice. He's like a staple here and people look for him, which is really nice.
I was wondering if he was a team member that didn't work out.
Well, Well, he's not here
Like,
today.
is your dad still there? You're like, nope.
He said he was experienced and he was very lacking. Oh my god, he's probably watching soon. But yeah, no, he actually is normally here, but you know, I like
Precautions.
I'm worried for him, so he's just working remotely. Actually, I wish you had met her. She's here right now. Maria, so she's with us. She's basically family too. So I think we talked about it, but we're going to do like a reshoot. We'll have you guys come back when we're reset. But so she actually moved from California to work here.
Okay.
And basically family. I've known her since I was like, I think 14 or something. Dang. And we've just kept in touch ever since. And so, you know, she's here for our office. You know, we're doing so much better now that she's here. And my dad, and it's kind of funny, it literally is like a family thing. But like our patients see that and they feel so good like coming because we're just like having a good time.
The culture is good.
The culture is good. And I think that's why we don't have all these lows, because it's like everyone is really helping us succeed. And so I don't know, for me personally, I don't think I have a bad story to tell.
Yeah, I'm like trying to think of one that like I was like, man, we're not gonna like make it. But I don't feel like we've
and not like to be
point,
like braggy or anything. Like it's not like super easy. I just and everyone has like bad luck sometimes. I don't know, for some reason things have been on our side.
I mean, you do your projections and things like that, and you kind of be very pessimistic about it. Be like, okay, what if we only do this much production this month, this much whatever. But whenever we get to the point where we're actually looking at the end of the month, we're still above that. So it's like, okay, I don't have to worry about it. And you just kind of see it progressing, increasing, I guess. Stuff, so.
Okay, so you don't have to give me numbers, but like at the end of year one, did you like where you expected to land, whether that was break even or whether that was a goal, did you meet that? Did you fall short of it, exceed it? Because you guys also have a little bit of a different situation that there's two of you. So some sense overhead or just even, you know, salaries could be higher than an average startup.
Yeah, I guess for the whole year, we've definitely broken even. I don't know off the top of my head what that number is. But I remember
we did get towards the end for sure.
I want to say like month 10.
Okay.
Like, actually, no, wait. I'm thinking of something else. So, I don't know. I honestly don't remember. But I know after like a couple, like the third month or something, we broke even per the month. But like in terms of the whole year production,
I think like month 3 we broke even overhead wise, not paying ourselves.
Yeah.
And then we started to like pay ourselves towards the end of the year.
I think it was like month 10 or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. So then obviously, okay, so March, like late February, early March, COVID starts coming down the road. When did you guys know it was going to be a big deal and kind of go, oh my gosh, this is happening?
I think that was probably like early to mid-March, I want to say, because we were still working up until probably like March 10th or I think somewhere around then.
It was the middle of March, and then we decided to just close because there's just like so much unknown. And I think also too, like we were seeing everyone else around us closing, and it just, you know, made sense. It wasn't worth it at that time, like, you know, risking ourselves for what was unknown at that moment. And so I would say like mid-March, we're like, you know what, let's like, we just closed.
Yeah, we just closed it up.
It's like such a blur now, but
No, I know. It was like, you know, 2 or 3 weeks into it, everybody knew the exact day. They're like, it was Monday the 14th, whatever it was. But Texas has been, they didn't close right away, did they? They were one of the latter ones?
Yeah, that's why. So it's like, because I mean, you know, his family's in Massachusetts, mine's in California, so they were on lockdown already.
Right.
And so that's what for us, we had to make a decision at that point, like what's going to happen to Texas, because like you said, they were behind on it. Yeah. So we like volunteered to close basically because we didn't know.
Yeah, and communicating with our families, I mean, they have a completely different perspective and like, this is crazy, this is going on. We're like, what are you talking about? Like, it's not been like out here, it wasn't that bad, but so you're like, okay, I'll trust you guys.
No, I mean, we, you know, in Ohio, we were definitely on the front end of it too. And it was at that first, I mean, we were at the Delivering Wow conference in New Orleans when we landed and got off, and my phone gives me an alert like the NBA had suspended the season. And it was like, what?
Yeah, it's like serious.
I know. And then that Friday, our schools here just shut down, and it was like, what is happening? And so we flew back Sunday, And that night they closed dental practices, they closed restaurants. So I remember, so it was all happening like very fast. Like you almost couldn't keep up, and which was a little scary because I mean, like Sunday night, I remember laying on the couch watching that, and I was like, I need to go to the grocery store because they're shutting down restaurants, you know, like, and it got a little crazy. But yeah, then the next day, everything was closed here. So
I actually remember the moment, like when we realized. So when we saw people talking about toilet paper on Facebook, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Let's just go to Walmart, just check it out." And like everything was gone. I was like, "Oh wow!" Like now, like I think that's when you found out it was real when we couldn't find it.
Yeah, and we were in this like bubble, almost being in New Orleans and being a part of a conference, and I was speaking, so I was just like, I had to be focused, and that was part of it. Is like we came back Sunday, and all of a sudden it was just like, wow, this is crazy. Go to the grocery store, there's nothing. I mean, you know, people just taking canned corn off the shelves, and you're like
they don't even want it.
No, I know. Yeah, it's like canned carrots. You're like, are you going to eat that really? Being a startup, how did that hit you guys when you realized A, you're shutting down, and then B, like this could be, you know, 4, 6, 8 weeks? Like what was going through your head?
It was scary, to tell you the truth. I mean, we're fortunate where we're at that point where we're stable. I mean, money was coming in, patients were coming in, so we're fine at that point. If it happened 6 months earlier,
we did. Yeah, we had a savings.
We've been saving ever since. So, I mean, we never use that fund. We were kind of building our rainy day fund since we started. So that was a smart move to do. But, you know, if it was 6 months earlier, it would have been bad. In terms of how we prepared and stuff, I mean, you know, just go with the flow.
Well, I think also too, it's like, yeah, like you said, it was very fortunate. Like, I guess when it happened, it was like 1 year later. Like if it was 6 months ago, it'd be really bad. But it was also scary because, we don't know if it was going to be like, you know, they were going to allow us to reopen in April, and then there were rumors it was going to be June, and it was going to be that was going to be really, really bad because, like, you know, we can only go like for so long, and some people are still not open, which is really scary.
Yeah.
And then when you do reopen, like how we're not the way we were. Like as of now, we're starting off just doing like one patient at a time, and so, you know, we want to come off as a, you know, like we want our brand to be synonymous with like also safety, and not just, you know, we're just trying to, you know, producer and, you know, something like all those like negative things. Like we want to like people to feel comfortable when they think of our office before anything, and so we're just taking it super slow until things pick up.
Yeah. No, that's amazing, because I was actually going to make this comment. Like, I'm sure you didn't have all this like savings or cash reserves, you know, like normal businesses should have some of that, but being a startup, it was probably just like doing what you can to get by. But I mean, that's interesting. So, I mean, when that happened, it probably helped you really just not overreact. Like, hey, we're fine for a little bit. We've got some saved away, which is what you're supposed to do as a business owner, right?
Yeah. It's like business 101.
Right. But how many people like don't do that, you know?
Yeah, because actually we didn't pay ourselves until we had enough money in the savings.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's super smart, guys. Because I mean, even a startup, like everything in dentistry has been so opportunistic the last 3, 5, 10 years, that even startups, like as soon as you can get that 4th chair, it's like pull the trigger, get the 4th chair, right? Like expand, hire the team. And you guys right from the start paused and said, no, this is a priority, which is amazing. Does that come like naturally? Was that part of like how you were raised, or?
I don't know.
I was like with raised.
Just give me that look. All right.
I was like, never mind, I'm not going to say.
Say it. Go.
Well, I mean,
got some beef here.
No, he's Guju, so he's Gujarati, so like he naturally knows how to.
It's in my blood. That's what you're saying.
I wasn't trying to set that up either, but
I feel like ever since I was young, I mean, business and money and stuff has always been like the forefront of things.
You have a lot of like entrepreneurs and business-minded people in your family too. That help. But and then also too, you know, I think we also have like trust issues, so I think that's what helped keep our staff very lean. So even though like, we've been open for a year and we have X amount of patients, we still would, for example, like even before COVID, there are days I assisted him on procedures. He assists me. You know, we set up and break down our rooms. If we need to, I'd rather have it that way than, you know, spend on like a bunch of staff that, I mean, not that, they're not good obviously when you train them. But I feel like, I don't know, we're very like,
it was a very
it's
lean
hard to
practice.
Yeah.
I would
Like
say.
delegate is the hardest thing. And so kind of worked out because we saved money.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's interesting. I think I definitely felt like I saw that the first couple of weeks is the practices that had saved money and had reserves, 3 to 6 months or whatever, were kind of just like, all right, like we got this. Let's figure out what we can do through this time. Team training, let's clean the office, let's make these renovations, do whatever. And the ones that didn't were definitely the ones that reacted. And it was just like, let the teams go, shut everything down. And so I think it's such a simple principle, but it's so huge that you just never know. So, okay. So you guys reopened this week. What changed? What, like last week when you all of a sudden were like, okay, we can do this immediately, like what did you know had to change? What were some of the protocols you put in place?
Yeah. So for Texas, so it was pretty specific.
Okay.
Well, so yeah, it was like a lot of back and forth, but basically when he announced, May 1 was the date, it was still a lot of back and forth with the dental board. And so a requirement, which was really hard for most people, was to get the N95 mask.
Okay.
That's what was holding people back from opening because they're already available. We were fortunate. Actually, he has a family member that was able to get us some. But, luckily, too, we don't have a lot of staff. So it's not like we had to a lot of PPE either. So like in another case like that worked out in our favor as well. But for the most part, I mean, and it's just like what all the restaurants are doing too, where it's like, they usually like curbside kind of situation. For us, it's like, as soon as they park, we want them to call or text. That way we can let them know, if we're running behind, like we don't want any type of, interaction as much as possible. Things that changed, I think everyone's doing this obviously, is like the wiping down of everything, like literally like everything. And that's why we put a gap in between patients, because this is what we were doing during emergency visits that we were doing before we were officially reopened. So a lot had changed then. But I think mostly the purchasing of like extensive PPE, like the gowns and the face shield, and and then, but like other than that, I mean, scheduling
is probably one of the big things too. Not using a waiting room anymore. That's kind of changed.
And also, like allowing more time in the beginning for screening the patients, like because we do the phone screens, but now we do like the hydrogen peroxide rinse, and then we also, have them fill out like a screening form in person before they come in and when they come. Yeah, every single time. And then also taking the temperatures of everyone, like, in the beginning of the day, in the middle of the day, which we have to do soon. So
yeah.
Little things. But other than that, I mean, the dentistry is the same. So
so here in Ohio, it seemed like it was mostly PPE focused and social distancing. Just keeping people in their cars or installing some like plexiglass which is so funny because like, do you remember when dental practices used to have like the sliding glass?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm like we're right back there.
Going back. I know.
Circle. It's funny. My one of our pizza places here in New Albany where I live put that up, and then what would happen is you go in, and then there's this piece of plexiglass hanging there, and you find, and it's probably about this big. And you find yourself stepping around to the side to talk to them. Right. And so then the next week I come in, there's a sign on it that says, please stand in front of the glass and talk to us. And you see that, and you're still like, hey.
Actually, that's funny because that happened to us too, like in Costco. So they have like, they check your receipt at the end. Yeah. And so normally, like you just give them your receipt. So there's the glass, but then we found a little opening in the glass for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, I just slipped it under. They're like, no, you put it against the glass.
Slam it on the board.
I know. We're so conditioned. Like if something's in front of you to like
move out of the way,
move it to connect. Yeah. So it's funny. So then what does this week look like? Like, did you guys already have it kind of booked out a little bit with hygiene, or what's it look like?
No, I mean, until
we had it booked, but then we canceled everything.
Okay.
And so, then when we knew, they're originally going to let us open on May 9th. So we started booking from the 9th on.
Okay.
And so this week was just Yeah, we just decided to open up,
until
like last Thursday.
Yeah, last Thursday.
That we were going to open up this week. And so we actually, got patients to come in and, but it's pretty light, for the first couple days, just because I think it's better for us because we want to see what works and what doesn't, and like just timing things right.
Yeah.
It's kind of good to play around with just like minimal amount of patients to start.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So kind of a soft opening week. Yeah, which is smart. And then, so overall so far, gauge on patients. I mean, have they been willing to come in? Have some told you like, we're just not comfortable?
I would say a good amount of the patients that we talk to have been okay. They're probably itching to get in here and get some work done. Cause I mean, there's people that have just, buildups and they needed crowns or they needed cleanings and things like that, that they're willing to come in even during the emergency time. We had one patient was like, just do it. Come on. Like, let's just get over with. I'm like, no, man. Like, we got to wait till.
We have a lot of people who are like, I'll pay you cash. I won't say anything.
Like a little black market dentistry going on.
That happened a lot. So I think we were really lucky. I don't know. I mean, if it's specific to Austin or Cedar Park. People here have been very relaxed about it. I mean, it could be good and bad, obviously, but it's been okay for us so far.
Yeah. No, I think overall, I mean, I knew a couple practices that opened last week, a bunch, like Ohio opened officially yesterday. And so actually a lot of practices doing what you guys are doing, where doctors are available this week, for treatment, that type of stuff, but hygiene's kicking back next week just to get a handle on patients and staggering and all that, which I think is smart. But overall, I don't know that I've heard, I think everybody I've talked to has been pleasantly surprised with the response. Because there was really two forecasts, right? Like one is, and I probably tend to see it more this way, I think dentistry possibly is going to have its biggest summer ever. Because you've got, 6 to 8 weeks of patients that now need to rebook, plus new patients that wanted to get in that just put everything on pause. So I think it could take us 3 to 4 months to get caught up. The other forecast is that patients are going to be hesitant and fearful and won't come back, which I still know that I see that trending right now, but we'll see. What do you think, you guys, as you're looking through the rest of this year, what are maybe some of the opportunities that you have as a startup that are to your advantage, like in this time?
I think as a growing practice, I guess we have more room to grow compared to some of the mature practices around us. So some of the practices around us were probably booked out. Like, for example, hygiene was probably like 2-3 months booked out. Whereas for us, we weren't that far booked out. So I think we had more spaces in our schedule. Another opportunity is, there's 2 of us where we can both simultaneously see patients, but I guess it'll kind of depend on how people feel about coming in with multiple patients in the office, but there's a point where we can grow with that as well.
I mean, for us too, like I think, well, for me anyways, my mind is spinning in terms of content, for marketing, because like I think we're running out of like dance video options. We're doing TikTok, and I'm like, we'll do it, but I think it's like gear it towards PPE safety, like how technology, cleanliness, and I think our marketing is actually going to help. Like kind of, put ourselves out there, like, promoting things that we were doing already.
Yeah. I feel like we need to see are you down with PPE? Like kind of like, wouldn't that be like, you guys could pull that off?
Yeah, that's true. Hey.
Yeah. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I wish you could come here for that one.
I know. That'd be so fun. All right, another piece of big news from this year. I don't know if it was actually March 3rd, but that's when the Facebook post went up. But have a little engagement announcement there. And Shivam, tell us about that. I mean, you proposed at Disneyland, it looked like.
Yes, it was, I guess, one of her top spots. It's my
favorite place in the world. And he did really good because I never hinted at it. It just, in the back of my head, I just knew that would be awesome if someone did it. Like, when I was a kid. And I worked there, so I see people get proposed to all the time. And I was like, it was me one day. And then, the reason why we were there actually was because we were in San Diego for my cousin's wedding. And so I found out he had never been to Disneyland.
Yeah. Whoa.
I was like, what?
I went to Disney World in Florida, but I guess they're very different.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But anyways, so I had this thing planned, and I was planning with her dad and her brother as well. But this was like 2019. We're planning on doing it. I think it was 2019 or early 2020. I don't remember. But we're planning on doing it at her dad's house. And then I was like, okay, never mind. It's not going to work there because, well, one, my parents kind of wanted to be involved as well, but they couldn't, take time off to come up here and do it. So like, oh, why not just come back home? You're coming for your cousin's baby shower or something. Just, have her come here. And I'm like, dude, like, she doesn't want to come home and like get proposed with my family. So I was like, okay, yeah, we'll see. And then her cousin's wedding came up, and she wanted to go to Disneyland. I'm like, okay, this is the opportunity. She like talks about Disney all the time. She's probably going to be the happiest there. And then her family's there, which she really likes as well. So I was like, this is like a no-brainer for me. And, we just planned it.
I cried. We all cried. Yeah. It was awesome. But it's just crazy too. I always forget how short I've known him. So we call it so May 3rd is our 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's really the 3 years since the day we ever first met.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so since we had met, I think 1 year since we met, we formed our partnership, our practice. And then literally a year after, then we got engaged, and so it was really quick. And I think when we first met you, when you came here, a year ago, around that time, that's when we decided that we were going to be boyfriend and girlfriend. Was around that time.
Yeah.
Official.
Right. So when we were doing all of the construction, we were dating. So we're like, eh.
Yeah. Well, no, because I remember asking you that question. We did an 88 show when I was there, and I was like, obviously you guys are partners in this practice, but I'm like, what's your relationship? I kind of kept going, and then you kind of, it was real vague, and then I'd come back at it. And I'm like, but when people ask what your relationship is like, what do you tell them? And you're just like, we just get along really well. We trust each other. And I'm like, and at some point I was like, I'm going to stop because I'm going to offend you. I'm just going to go look, it's just no. So that's awesome. Denise, walk us through that. Were you totally taken off guard? How did he do it? What was the scene like?
Yeah, so I was definitely surprised because I don't know, I guess I was so focused on just us being at Disneyland. I didn't really thinking about it. I was always, I didn't think he was going to do it. And so that I was very surprised, and that's why I cried. And I think he always says I'm not romantic. I'm not this and that. And that's why I was like, oh, he's probably not going to do it here then, because this is what I want.
Because this is the epitome of romance.
Yeah, this is the epitome of romance. And my dream has always been to have my parents there too. Oh. And I was like, my parents here at Disneyland, he's not doing it. And so that's why I was I started crying because I was just very surprised. And
it was right in front of the castle. I mean, was it right there on Main Street or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah.
It was right there, so it was amazing, and I'll never forget it.
Shivam, when did you decide to do that? When did you know all right, she's the one, let's start getting
oh man,
go dig deep.
Yeah. I don't know, I guess I was talking to you or maybe Chris, another one of our friends, about it, and I don't know the exact time, but I think the exact feeling
when you know the one?
When that she was the one was probably more a feeling than a time, I would say. It wasn't one day I'm like, okay, she's the one. I think it was more of a feeling over time. That I felt you know what, I think we're compatible. We get along, and this is who I want to spend the rest of my life with. So I think...
When?
I don't know when. I mean, it's definitely not the first day, and it's definitely not yesterday. It's somewhere in between. Yeah.
You know what? When we were doing our rap battle, and then I pretty much did my whole thing in one take, and she was like, "That's the one."
Yeah. He was like, "She's a baller."
I was like, when I went this, and then
I was I need that in my life all the time.
Yeah. Well, so look, obviously doing a startup with each other, I mean, some people probably would have looked at that and said that's high risk, because it's going to go one of two ways. It's probably going to be really good, or it's really not going to be really good. So how did your relationship evolve? I mean, obviously it went really good, but what were some of the things along the way where you were like, okay, yeah, we're not only doing a business together, but this is like turning into something else.
Yeah. And I think that's why we were so hesitant about our relationship, because I think it was dependent on this.
On the business, yeah.
Like, yeah, if it didn't go well, like we wouldn't have gone
well. It wouldn't have gone well at all, yeah.
And like, I think because we had done so much in such a short period of time of meeting, there was a lot of pressure. And so that's why it was really hard for us to define our relationship too, because there was just like, the startup process is like super, stressful and time consuming already, that like, to add on, just how our feelings were. I know, like, I tell people all the time, like, don't do what we did. Like, it's not like always gonna work out. And I didn't even know if it was gonna work out. And like, to be like transparent about everything, like, we had our attorneys draft partnership agreements and things like that. Cause like, you never know, even to a point where there was like addendum that said, like, if your spouse, they couldn't go after your portion of the listen. So we thought about, like, what if we got married to separate, and what if we individually got divorced by, like, so we kind of went along that thought process. So like, we tried not to focus on our relationship too much, and that's like why we put it off the way we did.
Just trying to treat it like a business, I guess, and kind of think of it as that, because if you kind of intertwine it too much, I think that's kind of where things get blurred a little bit. And
it's easier said than done, obviously, but I think because we survived all of that, and like, there were moments where, like, during the construction, like, our superintendent just like, well, first, like, he just disappeared for days. And so like, I was like driving the subs to Home Depot, I was crying, and he was there for me. Like, so like, when you go through those like crazy stuff in such a short period of time, you realize how strong you are if you were a couple. And also too, like, when it came down to like ordering or budgeting our like loan and things like that, we're always like consulting each other before we make a purchase, or we said like, yes to a rep. So it was kind of like a marriage where we're always communicating. And I think that was huge, like, in our business, but I also like transferred over to our personal life, because like, we're always communicating. And I think that's something that's so hard to find. First of all, someone that, is wanting to share with you, and then also someone you can trust. And I think from that experience, we quickly found out how much we really trusted each other because of the business. So I think it accelerated our relationship even more. So focus that we'll be all right. Like, and when it came to like, training staff, it's like, it was kind of equivalent to how we would raise our children. Like, who was good cop, who was bad cop. And like parenting style.
Was that bad cop? I don't remember.
I was good cop, you were bad cop, because everyone was afraid of you.
That's true, yeah.
So I would talk to the staff and like, really get into like, what's wrong? Talk to me.
Yeah.
And like, they'll tell me things, and then like, I'll go tell him, and then he'll like, like, thing. So I think overall it really helped us like
solidify a relationship going through those experiences.
No, I love that. Like, putting the business first, like, hey, we've got a really good thing going here. I'm willing to explore a relationship, but like, let's not mess this up type of a thing.
Because that meant more to us. Like, we always had like, dreams for our career. And so everything else was, to follow.
Yeah. I love that. Were there any moments through this where you felt like it wasn't going to work
with us?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I'm trying. You have a
no.
She's like, I've had a few.
Yeah. Well, not me personally. I think there were like reservations with your parents.
Oh yeah,
that's why.
No, I mean, in the beginning, they were just like, think about doing this and that, and like, I'm just like, I want to do something. Like, when I have my mind set on stuff, I just will, research and find a way to kind of make myself available to it. So I think we're pretty gun-ho about that. But
yeah, I think it was just, I guess having our family on board with our ridiculous life choices that we were making. Because like, on paper, it was stupid, right? Like, why would you do that? Or like, you just met him. Why are you opening a practice? I literally had known him for 1 year. I'd never worked with him before.
We never did.
Like, it was like risk on risk on risk. And so they had every to be concerned. And so it was like, we really had to prove ourselves to the people around us. So that was hard. I think.
But I love how because I think a lot of people can look at you guys from the outside and see like startup, and okay, they kind of weren't a couple, hadn't really worked together, came together to do a startup. Now they're engaged, like, and they can see all this stuff. And and see the risk in it. But as I've gotten to know you guys, like watching you behind the scenes mitigate that risk, like whether it's conversations like this about the relationship and even getting attorneys involved and drafting things just to make sure that you're both protected. Even like the whole savings, as being a startup, it's like, I've always seen you guys use common sense even and recognize like almost that realistic, like here's reality is we're taking some risk. Let's offset it by make sure that we're doing this and this. So I think you've been smart along the way.
Like, we know we're doing something stupid. And
right.
We're going to prepare.
Just in case it is stupid, let's make sure we protect it. Yeah. Have you guys decided on a date yet?
This whole COVID thing kind of screwed things up. So we're planning on doing something towards the end of the year or next year. But honestly, I guess we
don't want to have people feel bad that they can't travel or feel obligated to travel or just not be financially there to travel. So we might not do anything.
Yeah, a lot of our family members are working or haven't been working. So we've been kind of teetering on the idea of maybe doing something smaller, like at home, or doing it in either California, Massachusetts, or something like that.
Or everyone's doing like a Zoom wedding. We can.
I don't want to do a Zoom wedding. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Actually, Joshua, could you marry us?
Yeah. I am licensed. Well, I'm licensed in the state of Ohio to
that would be awesome.
Wouldn't that be amazing? But yeah, so I don't know if that works in other states. I was going to tell you should do it in California, and we would come because, of course. But if it's in Massachusetts, I'm not. I had to wear the LA hat here and represent the West Side. For those of you guys who don't know, Denise is from California, and I grew up in LA, and then Shivam's from Boston. So they have this like kind of East Coast, West Coast, but then meet in the middle of the country in Texas kind of story, which is cool. But I'll always represent the West Side with Denise for sure.
Oh man, I love it. Yeah, we'll be waiting for you on Crenshaw. Represent.
Yeah, you guys. I'll let you go here in a minute because I know you got a lot to do. One of the values you guys have always built into your practice is having fun, and I know last time I was there we were talking about that. But whether it's Shakira halftime show, TikTok dance, quarantine dance party. I mean, there's always something going on social media. Why has that become such an important part of what you guys do?
I think, I'll go first. I'll see why it's important to me. Okay. I think it helps us get away from the seriousness of dentistry sometimes, involving staff members, your dad. I think it's a nice kind of like breather that we get. And I mean, some of these videos take like a couple hours to film too. Yeah.
For like a 15-second TikTok.
It's ridiculous. But I think it's fun. We get to enjoy it. We get to bond a little bit more instead of, just being like, hey, pass me the suction or whatever, So I think it breaks up the day a little bit. And then, that's just who we are. I mean, we're not 100% serious either. So I think this is a little bit about, just showing who we are as well.
If there are any patients on here, we are very serious. Yeah. No, I think also too, so I know like a lot of like practices are trying to do that, like, do more dancing or whatever, cause like to keep up with the times. But honestly, like, I think we have so much of it, cause that's what I personally like to do. Like if I had like no profession, I would probably try to be an influencer or something. Cause it's just like so much fun in my head.
You literally watches TikTok videos and like Instagram videos, like YouTube videos, everything all the time.
Yes.
I'm like, okay.
It's so much fun. And so it's like, it's just, for me, it's an outlet to do it. And it makes sense with dentistry. But I think like, since we generally enjoy it, it is like he says, like a team building thing. Because literally like everyone we do it with, we're just like cracking up all the time. It's so ridiculous. And then like, from there, it like it translates with our audience or our patients. Like, they reference like a video they've seen, or they talk about how they play it with their family and they're just cracking up all the time. And so like in our head, I'm like, all right, more people are knowing about our office, So if that's working, we go with it. And, we've tried doing dental related things and then we don't get any engagement. And, for some reason it just doesn't work with us. And so we go with what works. And I think since it comes naturally, I think maybe people like can see that. And that's why it's going on and on and on. And so you'll probably see more.
Yeah. Well, Shivam, man, props to you. Cause I know you definitely hang in there and make it happen. I mean,
I'm
He was like firsthand from your rap video.
Oh my god, I'm like probably the first one that always is like, all right, we need to do another take. We need to do another take.
Yeah. No, that was amazing. I knew Denise would be up for it. I always had this idea of like, what if we did a rap battle? And so when we came down there, I hit you guys up, but I totally appreciate it. I was like, Denise is going to be in. I'm like, we'll see, but you stepped up. Like, it was crazy, and learned that in like 24 hours or something.
Yeah.
And those outtakes of you messing up, I mean, are hilarious. But you pulled it off and you got through it. It was good stuff, man.
And I think that was like the worst day of his life.
You know what's really funny is like I probably spent like a day or two like trying to memorize the lyrics and stuff, and then like sometimes the song would play like when we're out somewhere, and she would like look at me and I'm like, what? She's like, I'm like, what?
That's your
like
song.
I don't even recognize this. Like I don't even know the lyrics. I just memorized it.
Short-term memory, and then it's gone.
Yeah. Oh man, it's bad.
Yeah.
That's funny. No, I've tried to do that since with a couple other people, and I'm like, what if we did a rap off? And they're like, what? I'm like, like a rap off. Like, you learn a rap, I learn a rap.
Yeah.
They're like, man, that just seems like a lot of work. I'm like, yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
That's like me.
So if this wasn't a partnership and like it was just his office,
Yeah.
that's exactly what he was like, you know what, Josh, is too much.
Let's talk about dentistry.
Oh man. So I would imagine. Well, let me ask you this: do you guys ever get criticized for it?
I was actually expecting someone to. Like, I was
Really?
waiting for hate. Yeah. Because it's like, I don't know if people think we're portraying dentists in the wrong way, or that we're not taking ourselves seriously, that we're just like playing around all the time, which in actuality, if we had a camera every day, like we don't do this all the time. We're actually like, we're dentists.
We're normal.
We are normal. But I think because I mean, I've had a lot of inspiration from other dentists like who do really well on social media, like Ashley Hovez and everything. So it's like I know there's people out there that like, have like our vision, but like I don't know if people, like, say for example in our community or other people who've never seen like her stuff, like if they think it's like out there to be just super visible, transparent, and silly and all that stuff. And so I'm just like waiting for criticism because I know, like, when I look at our feed, I don't see a lot of like, oh, tips to brush and things like that. And I think that's the beauty of being the startup, is you can do whatever you want to do, right? And so for me, like, even as a dentist, when I scroll through that, I just like I just pass it. Like, I'm not interested, even as a dentist, which is like, weird to say, but it's like, if I want that information, I'll specifically either go to my dentist or, go to a different website or something like that. Like, if I'm on Instagram or on Facebook, I'm looking for something to brighten my day, something like, just out of the norm. And I think that's why, like, I had to go that way, regardless of what anyone was going to say. But luckily, I mean, as far as I know, I haven't heard anything. I mean, obviously, it could be people behind my back, and like, and who would tell me anyways?
You're just not in some of those Facebook groups where they're talking about you.
That's true. Maybe that's
No, I'm totally joking.
But I think also, I just, like, regardless if people were to say something, I think we would still keep doing it, because that's like, that's what makes us happy, and that's what we wanted to do when we started, and it's not going to change. So. Yeah.
No, I was curious because, I mean, dentistry, and you guys know this, it can be a little rough sometimes, the judgment, especially in the Facebook groups or the forums. So I was curious. I love it. I'm imagining you've got something up your sleeve, or you're on to the next, thinking about, what about this? What should give it? Do you have any hints, like anything you can drop, what we should be expecting soon?
That's down with PPE.
Yeah.
You know me.
Yeah, do it. Yeah, no, I mean, we didn't see a Tootsie slide or anything from you guys, right?
That's I was trying to do that with him.
I almost broke my leg.
Like, so before, like, everyone started doing it. Like, the moment I heard Drake, I was like, we have to do the Tootsie slide. He tells you literally how to do it in the song.
Right. The song tells you.
He tells you how to do it. And so I was like, come on. So this is like when we were still quarantined.
Yeah.
So, like, we were practicing like for days.
It was days.
It was 3 days.
I thought it was like a day. All right.
Okay. Yeah. So we kept practicing it, and then like eventually, like after a while, it ended up being the blinding lights challenge with Bruno Mars. We ended up going with that one more. I think that one.
I don't know. That song just was like meh to me. Like
he wasn't a fan of the 2C slide. So a lot
stupid.
of like
I don't know.
a lot of the creativity
yeah,
here.
I'm just saying, like straight up hating.
Bro, careful how you talk about Drake, man.
I know.
The song, like some of his other songs were cool. They were great. You know, they had a good beat and stuff. But like this one was just like he's forcing something.
Shivam, check this out. Wait.
Oh, how do you cannot talk.
Is that LeBron? No, just kidding.
No, it's not LeBron, bro.
Oh man.
No, I'm completely with you. I'm like, look, Drake puts out in fact, I think somebody on his team said it was a business decision to do that song. Like his like Hotline Bling and One Dance and they're like the radio hits, man. It's like for everybody, they go to number one. Yeah. So, but I feel you for sure.
This is like 100% TikTok driven.
Yeah. Oh, he said he did it for a TikTok platform.
Oh, really?
100%.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, awesome. Which I think that's maybe my next goal. So like maybe heighten our platform on TikTok. Like it's pretty low right now. We have an account up, but that's just for me to like be able to edit and create videos.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But at the same time too, it's like I know like the audience for that is like way young too.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're into going to the dentist. But yeah.
It's not a really strong dental marketing play.
No.
Yeah. For sure. All right. Well, look, I'm gonna let you guys go because I know you've got patients coming in here. Let me last question, because I know it's been interesting. We've I think started 6 startup practices just in the last 6 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
And so, I wasn't expecting that necessarily. And I mean, they're all scheduled to open July, August, September. What do you like those guys that are looking at starting a practice right now? A couple pieces of advice from you just based on your last year.
I would say start off slow. I think off the bat, we kind of just hired the people thinking that they would do their jobs and stuff like that. But especially in economic times where, there's a lot of uncertainty out there, just start off slow. Start off with one front desk or one back person, schedule slowly and see how it goes. If you hire too many people off the bat, I feel like you'll just kind of dig yourself in a hole quicker. But I think that's my suggestion.
I think for us, what worked, so like looking back, and I mean, everyone says this too, but yeah, like, and Joshua said it too, creating your brand, early on, has worked out for us because even though, we have like Google ads, all that stuff, like majority of our patients like gravitate towards us because of all the silly videos that we've been doing.
Yeah.
And like, even though you don't get a lot of engagement, like don't give up on it. Just like keep it constant, even though it's really hard to do. I would highly recommend that, especially now while people are at home. If you're opening up, it's a great time to do it. And then also what worked for us too, I mean, and everybody's different and depends on your location and your demographic. But if you haven't like started your design, I think investing on design has been huge for us. We had a lot of patients like that came in and they were in between choosing other dentists. And then a lot of people were like, I love the style of this office. Like had nothing to do with where we went to school or the services we offered or the insurances we took. But like this reminds me of like how I wanted to design my home, how I envision my house, how I already have my house. Like I just love how this looks. Yeah. And so that was like, most people probably criticize, like, why did you spend on a like copper colored chair? Why do you have a white oak wall? And, if you can, if it's possible, don't ignore like the design side of a business or an office. Cause I think it was huge. So yeah.
Awesome. If somebody out there wants to get in touch with you guys or wants to learn more about you, where's the best place for them to connect?
So we have our Instagram page at Perch_Dentistry. We also have our Facebook, and they can email us at smile@perchdentistry.com also. Cool.
Guys, thanks so much for taking the time. I know you're in the middle of a probably just crazy week, so wish you the best this week. Hope you have a great time just getting back to it, reopening, taking care of your patients. I know you've missed it, so have fun.
And we missed talking to you.
Yeah,
It's good
thanks for
like
having us
catching
on.
up, and tell Joanna we said hi and happy birthday again. I think
Yes.
that's so
Yeah, for sure. I'll pass it along. Yeah, we'd love to get together with you guys sometime when we're all together in the same part of the country. That'd be sweet.
yeah, that would be really great.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll definitely see you soon.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Josh.
Bye.
All right. Bye, guys.